You're tuning in to Stellar Cycles, hosted by Alina Souza
and Eva Brown. Join us weekly as we delve into the science, spirituality, and cultural significance of our feminine cycles.
Get ready to align with your natural rhythms, take charge of your patterns, and embrace a holistic approach to feminine wellness.
Are all systems go?
All systems are go. It looks like we're taking off on another one, you guys.
And we have the whole team here today.
We do. Joyce is back with us. We did record our previous 2 episodes without her, but she still did an amazing job at editing them and getting them out to you guys on time, or one at a time. Our episode today is episode 23, and we've titled it Leaving the Birth Control Rodeo. And our main topic today is looking into the chemistry, effects, and consequences connected with the use of hormonal birth control. We really want to know why there's this new wave of women firmly turning their health around and going off the pill after years and even decades of continued use. We explain how hormonal birth control works in the body for pregnancy prevention, how it can make changes in the reproductive and hormonal systems, and how it treats, in quotes, many of the conditions it gets so easily prescribed for. We also talk about what happens to those who choose to go off the pill and what can be expected as well as enjoyed. Eva, do you want to start us off with your updates?
I do. So I have exciting new business ventures that I launched like a week ago. I started the process, and it's a passive stream of income, and you guys know that's my favorite kind. And it's an e-commerce store on Amazon, and what I love about this is a passive income stream means they do all the work, and then we split the profits at the end. So I put up the money, they do the work, 50-50 split. And I like doing these types of deals even on like private money lending for houses. You put up the money, you get a return every month. So I'm really excited to get this going, especially since we're moving. I'm like, I need this passive income stream while all of our time goes into moving.
Funnel right into your next
segue, right? I'm so excited to move, finally get into my new home and space and decorate it. I've, of course, been designing, picking out furniture, and that's just very time consuming.
I literally can't believe it.
Yeah, so excited for that. And then I think this Saturday I might go on a yacht with one of my friends. I can't wait for her to be your friend too, Lena. I keep telling you about Nikki.
Yeah. You said that to me too, but she won't answer my DM, so I don't know if that's going to happen.
You got to have like that third party edification. They're like,
really?
Hey, Nikki. Yeah, always. Because if you don't create a bond, it's like going in cold. Uh-huh. And I go in cold into people's DMs too, but like it's just not the same.
I don't know. You know me, I'm 0 to 100.
You
That's
are.
The only way I operate. But anyway, I'm glad that you're going to be on a yacht with this very
influential, spiritual new friend. Yeah. I like diving deep and kind of connecting with people. So I think we're going to build a cool tribe here in San Diego.
Okay, good for you.
What about your updates?
My updates. We actually changed our moving date, so we both move tomorrow. Both Eva and I will be moving tomorrow. Yeah. That is crazy. So process starts at 9, and it's just very exciting. It's going to be a busy day. First I go and get the keys, come back. The movers will be here by then, and we will start packing things up and move things over there. And then, so it's kind of like on me to oversee the entire process. Sam won't be here.
Housewife things.
Just housewife things. And of course, we have the webinar coming up. First, we're doing it for Andy's team, right? And then we'll open it up to the rest of the listeners.
So excited to the rest of the world.
Keep an eye out for that.
The webinar looks amazing. Okay. The design I'm obsessed with.
I just need to finish it. Thank you. We have a photo shoot event that we're planning. Actually, it's kind of crazy like talking about all this stuff because just a few months ago, we didn't even have a podcast.
I know,
and now we're like planning little events for it. So a little photo shoot event where you're welcome to buy a ticket. You can come to this beautiful, gorgeous space at the top of Little Italy's tallest building and newest building. Yeah. You can get some photos done, like every once in a while, you're making your website or you're updating your profile and you're like, why don't I have any good pictures? We've all been there. Yes. So if that's you want to come to this little event, not only will we have pictures, we will have some snacks, we will have some mingling with the other ladies, and just a chance for you to network, make some new friends, get some new photos, have some yummy food. Like, why not, and check out this new spot.
It's what every girl needs.
Yeah.
We need to be able to hang out and walk away with something that adds value to our lives. And we hope this will be that for you guys. New connections.
Yes.
And content.
Yes. And then finally, I've just been a lot more in my health bag. I've actually gained 10 pounds, which makes me super excited because you know me. Been working out again. Been waking up early.
Looking full and thick.
Thank you. Yeah, that's about it. So today, what are we talking about today, Eva?
So why are we choosing to talk about hormonal birth control? Birth control is something that we have used since 1960, but even then they were using it back in the day too.
Yeah, we're talking about like hormonal birth control when they started playing around with like synthesizing these chemicals and stuff in the lab. But yeah, back in the day, Romans and other ancient cultures definitely had their own forms of birth control.
So like the other stuff.
Methods.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So hormonal birth control is just since 1960 when it became a little bit more modernized. And the definition of hormonal birth control, it's a general term for all tablets, patches, and injections that deliver steroid drugs to suppress ovarian function. And as you guys know, the pill is the most commonly used. It's what I used back in the day.
So let's list all the forms of birth control we possibly can that we know of, and then we're going to check online to see our accuracy. So let's go for it. The pill, obviously.
The ring.
Okay.
Oh, the one that goes in there and it's like kind of a spike and then it makes...
Oh, the IUD?
Thank you. And then there's the one where they give you the shot in your arm. Okay. That lasts for 7 years or something crazy.
Arm shot. Also the arm implant.
Oh, okay. They might be the same.
There's like an injection, and then there's like an actual like little device that sits in your arm. You can feel it.
Oh, yeah.
There's female condoms.
Yes, and they have the gel now too.
Like the spermicide.
Yeah. Ew. Can you imagine?
Do you know
before
what
you get into
podcast you're on?
You're like, oh hey, I need to bring my spermicide.
Let me just grab my spermicide real quick. Of course, male condoms. Can you think of anything else?
I think I heard that males have a birth control now too. No?
Is it out though for like public use?
Not that I know.
No,
it's not something I research, right?
See. Oh, when women get their tubes tied.
Hysterectomy.
Yeah.
It's his hysterectomy. And men get their testes tied.
Yeah, vasectomy. Good job. And then anything else? Can you think of it?
Joyce, do you have any?
Abortion.
Oh.
It's like later down in the line, but I'm like...
Actually, that literally does.
I guess that counts. We'll put it there. I'm on the Planned Parenthood site right now, so we'll see what it said.
It literally is birth control. I think we listed them all, huh?
Okay, let's check and see what we got. Okay, so we actually got like all of the ones that we got obviously were on their list, but we did miss a few, such as abstinence. It's a form of birth control, which it is. Breastfeeding as a form of birth control, which that is more of like a myth than it is actually a reliable form of birth control. Withdrawal method, fertility awareness method, which we will mention that at the end of the episode. Cervical cap we didn't put down because what?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
Birth control sponge, a diaphragm, and birth control patch. So... Right, I think I would say our accuracy is about like 75% there. So you already got into the definition. Hormonal birth control is the kind that actually, does something to your own personal hormonal cycle. So we just want to put a disclaimer out there for this episode that it's not meant to slam birth control or demonize it, but to help educate our listeners on how it works in the body to produce the effects so many women experience. We also want to speak on why more and more women are getting off hormonal birth control. We'll get into personal experience. Do you want to go first? What's your personal kind of history that you're willing to share?
Yeah, definitely. I think I first started it I think a lot of girls started in high school just because of pain. And I think I was 16 and I was probably only on it for less than a year. I think at that time too, it just felt like it was doing more harm than good. And then throughout my entire life, I was just very not trying to take it. It wasn't even a high priority, right? Because for a long period of my life, I was celibate, so that's abstinence. So very low priority having birth control for any reason. My periods kind of tapered down. They're a little bit easier. And then I recently started birth control again as a older adult, and I was on it for about 2 years. It was pretty great. I did it mainly because I was breaking out at that time. I was like really stressed before. And I was like, okay, let me do this. I remember birth control settled out my breakouts in high school too. So I went back on it for that reason. I had perfect skin, but I was kind of like sad. Like I wasn't really like as energetic or bubbly. And that was the time when you and I started becoming friends. When I first met you, we even were talking about this. And I think after like 8 months of you and I talking about it, I was finally like, okay, this isn't good for my body. And I already knew, like my best friend Andy also tells me not to get on it. So when I made the jump off of it, I literally cried so much for a month. I was super emotional. I didn't realize that my emotions were being like shut down for so long. And it was just interesting because I just look back and I made so many like decisions differently, and now I feel like I am a lot more glowy. And even though I'm breaking out, I'm kind of thankful for the breakouts because I think they tell you where something needs to be looked at in your life, you know?
Well, how long did it take for you to stabilize or kind of reach some sort of equilibrium after you went off?
Good question. I'd say 3 months.
About 3 months.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
normal.
break out for a while for 3 months. I think I still had it in my system. And then after 3 months, everything stabilized and my period was pretty stable right away. And I think it's because I wasn't on it for too long. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for me, I actually went on it. I remember the middle of my senior year. I begged my mom to take me to the nurse practitioner because I had such painful periods already by like 17. Yeah, I remember my mom was like not stoked to have me go on birth control because then immediately that means that like, you know, you're going to make use of birth control in the like sexual way, you know, but who knows. I legit needed it for cramps. And I remember it made me gain a tiny bit of weight. Not anything drastic. It also cleared my skin. I had such bomb skin. But also my mood. It really affected my mood to the point where, like, I was such a bitch to my family. Like, I would just, like, fly off the handle. Like, every little thing would set me off. Like, we went on a family vacation right after my high school graduation. And I was just, like, beefing with my mom the whole time. At one point, she was like, Lena, you have to stop taking these pills. Like, they're turning you into a monster. So, think about I took it about 6 months that time. Never really stayed on it consistently after that time. Maybe like I've taken it for like a month or a week or something. But, you know, I started reading these books about birth control and what it does to your body. And that really went hand in hand with my ultrasound experience and seeing people come in for these disorders and diseases that are the risks, written and listed risks and side effects of contraceptives and birth control, and now we're starting to see the effects years down the road. It's been about 5 to 6 years now since I've even been on hormonal birth control, and now I use fertility tracking method and condoms around ovulation time. And that's worked for me.
I love that you've been off of it for 6 years.
Yeah.
It's like really
It's been a long
stable.
time. Yeah.
Did you ever think about it? Like, were you missing it or like missing your skin even?
No.
For a while, I miss my skin. No. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. And like the thing is, though, that was really interesting is that, yeah, it helped my skin, but I also had bouts of really good skin when I was off of birth control too. So like I didn't really tie it to that.
Right.
Do we want to talk about the pill, our main character?
No, it is the main character.
Yeah, doctors love this one because it's a predictable band-aid solution to pretty much any hormonal symptom. And if you have problems conceiving as a result, they'll give you fertility drugs to kind of boost you back up to normal.
It's perfect. It's like our entire medical system. Give you one thing. If it makes you sick, we'll give you another thing.
Yeah.
Come here, forever customer of ours.
What happens here is the pill overrides your own hormonal dance, whether you have something wrong going on or whether everything is fine, so long as you keep taking it. And something that we want you guys to know, this really surprised me when I was reading this information, but the pill bleed is really not a real period. it's just a withdrawal bleed. You haven't made any progesterone in your cycle because a real period asks the question, like, are the ovaries functioning healthily? And if the ovaries are functioning healthily, they release the egg. The corpus luteum starts growing for the final half of the cycle, and the corpus luteum produces progesterone for the second half of the cycle. But when you're on birth control, you haven't made any progesterone in your cycle, so you don't have a period. Progesterone, to remind you guys, it's a must-have hormone. It's beneficial for mood, metabolism, bones, stress capacity, pregnancy, and more. And hair, too. Progesterone is great for hair, and it promotes growth. And its counterpart that's used in the pill, it's a compound called levonorgestrel. It's a counterpart for progesterone. It causes hair loss because it's similar to male hormone testosterone.
Also, I remember when I was on birth control, my hair did not grow. Because I was on it long enough to tell, compared to how my hair grows now to, let's say, when I was on it 3 years ago. Big difference.
Wow.
Yeah. Night
your
and
hair
day.
has
It's a lot healthier, thicker too. But when I was on birth control, I just remember being strawy, falling out all the time, and it never would grow.
The pill shuts down your ovaries. It switches off your hormones. So you aren't actually making your own sex hormones while you're on the pill. It blocks the communication between your brain and your gonads, essentially, so that you're not ovulating and you're not creating your own estrogen or progesterone during the month. So you get steroid drugs, also known as hormone replacement, which is synthetic versions of human hormones. Synthetic means made in a lab.
And it's probably just the synthetic hormone that will trigger you to bleed. But like you said again, they're basically like nuking all progesterone. So you can't have a baby. I mean, that's how you get a 99% success rate, you know?
Yeah. So the bottom line for the pill is that it does not regulate hormones, no matter what anyone says, because it switches them off entirely. Like, they're not being regulated, they're being turned off.
No wonder why I was so moody. Like, I'm sure my endorphins, my dopamine, serotonin are just not, like, out of whack. Melatonin too.
Yeah.
So moving into NuvaRing, that's going to suppress your ovulation as well, but that's a monthly insert. Have you ever tried? You never did? No. My friends did, and I would always ask about it. But yeah, it's a monthly insert, and what is unique about this, though, is your risk at having blood clots becomes a lot higher than the pill, because these chemicals are going directly into your blood without first passing through the liver.
Okay, so is it like a ring that sits up there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's,
isn't it like right at the base of your cervix?
Yeah, sounds like it, but it would need to kind of be up there so it doesn't slide out. Yeah.
There's different kind. I know you can insert it yourself, or you can go to the doctor. Oh, the doctor inserts the IUDs.
Yeah. Blood clots are scary. They're on the risk list of like almost every single birth control.
Yeah.
Silent killers
too. And then for the contraceptive patch.
Okay, so the patch, that's one thing I've literally never really known of anyone to use that. Because it's like, do you have to wear that constantly or... Okay,
I didn't even know it was a thing.
So some of their names are Xulane and Evra. They also suppress ovulation, and there is also a higher risk of blood clots in them. I'm guessing because it just transfuses the chemicals through your skin into the bloodstream. Then we have a thing called the mini pill, and that's progestin only. Progestin is not the same thing as progesterone. You make progesterone with your own ovary as a cycling person, whereas progestin is something made in a lab to try to mimic progesterone. So the mini pill, it only has progestin. It works by thinning out your uterine lining. So if your uterine lining is really thick, a baby's going to have a really hard time attaching and surviving in there. And it also works by impairing cervical fluid. So if it messes up the cervical fluid, then sperm can't really get through it in the most effective way or get to the egg.
It's creative.
Yeah, it's pretty creative. And the mini pill, it was actually the first ever pill that was tested in 1956. It was progestin only, but it had so many side effects that estrogen was then added in to make the drug more tolerable. Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
And for the arm plants progestin only.
Implant?
The arm implant?
Arm plant.
The arm plant. I'm going to coin that phrase. It works similarly to the mini pill because of that progestin. And it's, of course, suppressing ovulation, but is known more for weight gain and erratic bleeding. And the effects can be present long after it's removed. We've heard about my friends who've tried it. That was really popular in high school, actually. That was a big one because all parents were like, at least in the high schools I went to, because like I went to like a few, like anyone who went there would also say they were like more ghetto high schools. So like parents for sure wanted their kids on something that could guarantee no pregnancy for 5 to 7 years. They're like, here,
There
child.
you go, yeah. But yeah, after they get it removed, then like they bleed for a long time.
Yeah.
Then you have your injection shot, not to be confused with the arm implant. The arm implant is actually like a physical, like little device that sits in your body, and I'm guessing emits
Daily.
the chemicals, the synthesized, the shot, also known as Depo-Provera, what it does is it completely suppresses your own progesterone and estrogen. It has the scariest side effects of any birth control, which would be unstoppable weight gain, temporary bone loss. Any bone loss is scary because as you age, if you have a fall or if you can't support your weight, it's really bad, like you can die. Breast cancer risk, and this one also, the effects linger after a while. So if you've had the shot done and then you're trying to get pregnant or whatever, it can take like 18 months to fully clear out of your system.
That is scary. Please don't use that, guys.
Yeah. Then wrapping up with IUDs. So copper IUD, we're not going to talk about that because that's not a hormonal birth control. That's just regular. The copper, I think, does something to deter the pregnancy. But IUD, we're talking about like the Mirena IUD, and what it has is it also works on progestin only, which again thins the uterine lining and impairs that cervical mucus. Mirena does not completely suppress ovulation, so it's seen as the least harmful of all of these birth controls. However, it can be linked to depression and reduced ability to cope with stress. Why is that? Because progesterone, right? It steals your progesterone. You don't have the same capacity to deal with stress or things like that. However, the pros of the Mirena IUD is that it can reduce blood flow by about 90%. So it can be a really good treatment option for period problems like heavy bleeding, adenomyosis, and endometriosis.
Yeah,
So
overall that does sound pretty good.
if you're dealing with those types of things. Obviously, birth control has been a great method for people who like absolutely aren't ready to get pregnant. However, I do have at least 2 aunts that got pregnant. One got pregnant on the pill and one got pregnant on the IUD.
Whoa.
So, you know, if you're fertile, you're fertile. But we do want to mention some risks and side effects that I really think that they don't get highlighted enough, especially working in the medical field. So cancer, you have a 3 times increased risk for cancer if you use hormonal birth control.
I don't like those odds.
Yeah, that's a little high. Well, of course, blood clots. Almost every single one of those increases your chance for blood clots. Depression, progestins, estrogens, they make your system a lot more sensitive to stress. Of course, the hair loss we talked about. We have uncontrolled weight fluctuations. It, again, affects your metabolic function, and anything that affects your metabolic function is then a precursor to like diabetes or blood sugar problems. It's a precursor to pretty much every disease out there.
Yeah, obviously cancer and all that
Then
stuff.
you have high blood pressure. Then you have nutrient deficiency, reduced thyroid function, and thyroid disease is affecting younger and younger women now. It's kind of sad. And in addition to that, hormonal birth control alters the intestinal and vaginal bacteria balance, which gives you digestive problems, yeast infections, abnormal pap smears. And finally, prevents formation of strong bones. I think something about the way that birth control functions in your body is it pulls the calcium from your bones.
Yeah, that would make sense, especially with nutrient deficiencies too. If you guys are experiencing any things like this, and you're on some sort of birth control, I would like to know about it. Like, DM us. I'm just kind of curious. I love to test all these facts and the things that we've learned.
Yeah. You want to go over when is a good time to get into hormonal birth control?
I mean, I think it's, of course, to each their own. Everyone is different. And we all know that after you guys have the information, you guys are going to make the best decision for yourself. You're going to understand what risk you're willing to take on and which ones you guys are not. But really, anyone who wants a functioning hormonal system, I would probably say you don't want to get on birth control. You want to look at more natural options because, as Lena was saying, the hormonal birth control is going to override your hormones completely. And when we're looking at longevity in life, we know that that's not what we want to do. We have to work in balance with our hormones, especially if we're trying to live a really long, healthy life. Because truthfully, no one can be on birth control forever. I don't think it's ever was intended for someone to be on it for a long period of time anyway. So if you do choose any of these options, choose what method of contraception is best for you. And if you suffer from debilitating conditions and their painful effects, for example, endometriosis or adenomyosis, we will also be doing an episode.
Sounds like you're doing a commercial for like the medication for it or something.
That's great. We'll also be doing an episode for natural treatments. Definitely tune into that so you guys can figure out how to balance your hormones, but also stay safe and make sure that those 3 days out of the month when you're fertile, you're not getting pregnant.
Yeah. Our question of this episode is, do you really need a period? The answer is no, but you don't need a pill bleed because it's not really a period. What you do need is ovarian hormones, and those are produced when you have a menstrual cycle with all the phases that you go through. Your menstruation, your follicular phase, your ovulation, your luteal. So all of those phases in your cycle produce the hormones that you need in your body. If menstrual suppression is your goal, though, the Mirena IUD is your best choice because, like we talked about, it can slow down a lot of the blood flow and still allows for ovulatory function. Although I hear it hurts like a bee to get it put in, I just hear people like bleed profusely when they get an IUD put in, and they're told that, oh yeah, you just have to get through it and it'll like be fine in a few months, but again, to each their own.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. Since you've most recently come off the pill, Eva, I think you can talk on some of these points. Again, this is going to be a different process for everybody. It'll vary what age you are, how long you've been on the method of contraception, what your body's used to, how healthy you are, what kind of choices you make while you're coming off of it. So
all
like the post-pill acne would be like 3 to 6 months. For some people, it stays clear. For some people, it comes back, right?
Yeah, everyone's different. Maybe they naturally didn't have acne either, or maybe their body processes things in a different way. Environment, where you live, what you're eating, who you're around. So many factors play into these types of things. Your past too. Everyone's different, so the process will vary for everyone. For your guys' PMS, it may still be present, at least for the first while, but it will go away afterwards, especially with the right lifestyle choices. And of course, with cycle syncing. I mean, if you got off of it and dove right into eating the right things and doing the right things, you're going to see your bounce back is going to be a lot easier. And you might not have a period maybe the following month, but if it keeps up and you pass a few months, definitely go check with your doctor so they can run some tests and see how to rebalance your hormones.
I'm entering my final week, my luteal phase, and I literally feel fine. It's kind of sick. Love it.
That's good. I love that too. Me too. I also don't feel that bad.
So, yeah. Do you want to wrap up with the 5 benefits that they can expect that they'll enjoy when they come off the pill?
Yes. You will reclaim your mental health.
That's the
number
best one. That is the best one.
I'm telling you, I was definitely like a lot more neurotic and emotional and like just mean. I feel like when I was on the pill. So you're going to level your emotions. Yeah, now I'm super leveled. Progesterone is in my body, and now I'm chill all the time. I handle problems so easily. Like nothing perturbs me. Prevent future brain alterations, get better sleep, and make better decisions. All of those things, check, and check. I literally saw the difference a month after. And a nice bonus is you'll look a little bit hotter.
Yeah, because your body is cycling, and especially when you align with your hormones and you eat the proper foods and this and that, you'll notice that you're taking on a more womanly shape and like this, that, and the other.
So true.
So to wrap up this episode, we're just gonna put some things into your mind that you can maybe start thinking about, start working on. If you currently are on birth control, is it working for you? Or are you just kind of using it as a Band-Aid method? Have you recently given any thought to alternative methods? A pros and cons list always works to check and see if something is worth it. They're not always brightly advertised, but check the side effects, and we did dive into some of them, but you want to be specific for what you're taking. Check the side effects and risks of your own hormonal birth control and weigh that against whether you'd want any of those scenarios happening. I think that would be a good way to, decide. Yeah. Also look into fertility tracking and other forms of natural family planning. And it's actually so easy and mind-blowing every time that it works. It's almost like, am I infertile? No, I guess I'll find out in the future. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, God really set us up.
Yeah.
His plan was perfect. Let's just follow it.
All right. So we'll see you guys in the next episode on the next planet of discussion that we land on.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Blast off. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This show is intended for inspiration and entertainment and is not meant to replace your physician's medical advice.
Content by Alina and Eva, produced by Joyous Heron.
You can find more on our Instagram at Stellar Cycles Pod.
Thanks for joining us on this stellar journey. See you next time.